Hey, what's up guys, Generally Features. Hope you're having a great day today. And we are starting a new series with Iran in a Flashpoint map. This is the part 1 setup video that I wanted to share with you guys with this Iran playthrough. So let's look into the nation of Iran. Some of the borders I've already expanded already on day 2, just taking some AI nations, but let's zoom in into the nation, show you some of the infrastructure I have, and then also research, outlook, and then we'll look at everything else. So let's zoom in. So you have your capital here, Tehran, and I just have the typical setup that I always recommend starting out, and that's always having your army base 1, your recruiting office, and an arms industry. That's usually what I start with any nation. Now sometimes you have differences depending on your geography and just your situation with enemies around you, but typically that's what I have every city start with. I'm slowly starting to get that done with my cities. See these 2 bottom cities, I have that structure, and then these I'm getting them caught up with their infrastructure. Now with the research, I want to have a little bit more production for my rare materials. So if you've never been Iran, your rare material production is going to be the lowest out of all your production. Try to get your arms industry up as soon as you can to other higher levels, not just at level 1. I mean, that's an obvious given for most games that you just keep upgrading your arms industry, but you will have the lowest production for your rare materials despite having a province up here of 100 rare materials. So even though you have that, you're still going to be lower than all your other resources. All right, research, not much going on because it's day 2. I have the motorized infantry level 1 researched. I have the recon vehicle researched, and I have the mobile anti-air vehicle researched. And that is it. That's all I have researched at this moment. So I'm staying very land focused. Of course, I don't have any access to the water yet, so no need to get too crazy with that. Of course, I mean, it's not too far to do that. I would have to take the city up here from Russia to have access to the Black Sea, or here from Turkey to the Black Sea. That's the closest cities that I could use naval base. And then if I want to get closer to the Mediterranean, I have to get into Syria and take this city, or Turkey over here, or of course further down, but most realistically is Syria here. So that being said, with not much naval units involved, especially early game or even mid game, I'm just going to focus on land units and maybe a little bit of air, but mainly have my motorized infantry and then upgrade more armor units later on. Going to choose either the armored fighting vehicle or the main battle tank as my mainstay, and then also have this recon vehicle as a little bit of support unit in there. But really what's critical is having a air defense unit for your guys in these land battles. So of course, this unit, the mobile anti-air, is very cheap at first, so that is why I got it right away, and it will deter some of those players who will have the helicopter gunship, and that is a perfect unit to deter these units here. The mobile anti-air can specifically target the gunship because that's what its radar system is mainly designed for. Now it can fight fighters, but it has a little bit of a better attack with helicopters, as you can see here, with just 0.5 more attack. And then of course I'm going to have more SAMs later. SAMs are a mainstay for your anti-air units. This is mainly going to be a land advance. Just want to push deeper into Turkey and into Syria. And it looks like we have Russia coming into the Caucasus area. And I've already pushed in a little bit, taken Baku here. I have to be a little bit wary that Russia may try to advance in the north. And then I also have to be wary of Turkey and Syria advancing in my west. So you can see I have a little bit of a defensive line here when I took Iraq. So the plan is to build up my land forces and move into Iraq, which is mainly all desert. You have some mountain ranges here, more in the south, and then to the closer to the Mediterranean. But you can have some pretty fast land advances because this is desert land, and move into that area. I mean, right here in Damascus is his capital, and this is desert land, so very good for land units to move quickly. And then for Turkey, you have some mountain ranges and a little bit of desert and forests that you gotta traverse to get into deeper into his land. And then you have Russia, which has vast lands that you have to cross to get to his first cities. So you gotta really just, I guess, pay attention to what players' activity is and maybe their experience, paying attention to their cities to see what they're producing. For example, it looks like Russia doesn't really have too much activity. He's just using his units that he got at the beginning of the game. He hasn't produced any more units. When we look at Syria, which is more of my target at the moment, not much either. So it looks like I might be in a somewhat good situation with the players I'm around. I know in other nations there's much more activity. I know, for instance, Ukraine is going to be someone that I'm probably going to have to battle, but maybe I'll ally with him. You can see he's got almost the same setup as me. So that's one thing I recommend early game, is just clicking around on people's cities and seeing what their activity is. And lastly, let's look at the coalitions just to get a lay of the land. So we had the all big nations, which is Poland, Russia, and the United States. And then I've started my own coalition here. And it looks like Ukraine is actually applying for my coalition, which is great. That would be a wonderful thing for him to join me. So that's actually really good. And he could really help me to advance in this northern sector. And then I could focus on the south sector of this region, and we could really divide and conquer Europe. So, and obviously this is a Flashpoint map, so it's going to be a little bit of a different video series. I know usually I do the bigger maps, but wanted just to put some Flashpoint content out there for you guys if you're not really familiar with it, especially if you're a new player. Flashpoint is a great map to start out, just to learn the ropes of this game. There's also the Battlefield USA match, which is a great option as well. Highly recommend it if you're a newer player. You got to give it a try. It's almost like some proven grounds, but you also do see experienced players in here, so use caution. That's why I say you need to check out other players, click on the profiles, see how experienced they are. Don't assume that everyone in a Flashpoint map is a first-time player. That is it, guys. There's not much going on, of course, because it's part 1. But you can see I've expanded a little bit. Please like and subscribe, guys. Thank you for the support that you've been giving me. Really appreciate this community that we are building together. And I'll see you guys next time in the next part of this series.